Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Seven Kinds of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki, and with me today is the one, the only, the Doctor of Disaster and Destruction, Adega Outlaw.
Very good evening, and excellent day for you today. It's been a really cool day.
I pulled off the hat trick.
There you go.
We streamed this morning, we streamed this afternoon, and we're streaming now. So we pulled it off today. We really have an excellent stream with R&B. And I have something I have to make up real quick before we get going. Give me just 1 second.
While he's doing that, hello, everybody. Welcome. Love the fire. You know me, I'm all about the fire. And each and every one of you, I say hello to.
So at the very end of the stream, we missed a couple of super chats. We got a $10 super chat from Eris of Chaos that said, "This has been awesome. Thank you, gentlemen." And even though R&B can't hear this right now, I am sure that he would be perfectly fine with me saying thank you so very much, Eris of Chaos, for your super chat. You want to do a skull with me, Adega?
Let's do it.
Get the night started off right with some dragon fire. Skull!
Skull!
Thank you so very much, Eris of Chaos. You guys keep the home fires burning bright in Valhalla. Skull.
Indeed.
Indeed. And Dave Bob, hello, darkness, my old friend. I got copyrighted again.
Not with that one.
Not with that one. So what do we got going, man? We've got Chris Persia, we got Dave Bob Gun Bunny, we've got Eris of Chaos, Spoiled Quinn Baby Doll, Colin P. Smith, Psychodorp 9, Lady Miss the Guardian of the Void, DD Myers. Guys, thank you so very much for being here. Purple Valkyrie, thank you all so very much for being
Bone just popped in.
Bone.
Louise popped in.
Good evening, Louise. Louise Sparrow, how are you doing, girly? Thank you so very much for being here. So, what do we got going tonight, Adega?
This is a tough one. And I'm not going to do it the normal way I do, where I write out a report and read it, or read somebody else's editorial, or This one is stuff that I've.
Let me know.
I'm about to take. Go ahead.
Let me know when you want me to start throwing these pictures in there.
All right, I'm about to take you guys down. Let's say it is. If you were to find a rabbit hole, this is like just starting to look inside, because it goes very, very deep. Everything I'm going to share with you is real. And some of you people are going to be very upset with me. Not necessarily me personally, but because of the information I'm sharing with you, it's going to change your world. And I didn't write it out. This is more of a discussion between Loki and I. But it is very, very disturbing, and it is very, very real. One of the things that people will first debate me on is something called MK Ultra. Those of you who know what MK Ultra is, it's a form of mind control, and they use it for various different nefarious purposes, including making Hollywood stars and music stars and slavery of various different kinds by words. Also, some of you who have been on Discord noticed that there was last month I posted a picture of the Vanderbilt family. I think I put it in the Discord. It was Mother Vanderbilt and her 2 boys, and one of them turned out to be a news anchor for one of our big and failing news agencies. And I'm not going to mention any names there. You guys will be able to figure that out. But there are certain people and certain families and certain organizations that have kept quiet and have done very, very horrible things over the years. I know people that have personally been affected by these things. Some of them even come from the Native American reservations, who are associated with, or people that I've talked with, who lived in Canada when some of these things happened. I don't know how much into the detail we're going to get into that, but I do want to cover something that is, these things often with these people are going to be right in your face because they think you're never going to figure it out. You're too stupid. You don't understand what's going on, so we can just stick it right in your face. And they put it in movies. They put it in videos for music. It's in Hollywood programs. You can see it on their award shows. And they'll think, oh, you're just gonna be accused as a crazy person. Well, what Loki's showing you there, some of you know, because it's been in various different movies, because they like to stick it right in your face. That is the home of one of the Rothschilds' home. And I had earlier on today had shared with Loki some images of parties that go on with these ultra elite. And you could think of, people that have it all. Why do they have it all? And what do these crazy people do with it all? Well, one of these people threw a party in 1972. And I'm trying to look up her name. It's a Helen. I believe it's Helen Rothschild.
Psychodorf 9 says, Loki, I'm at work listening only. Can I get a color comment? I have no idea what color you're talking about, brother.
I don't either. I'm lost on that one. We don't have an answer to that. We'll get to that one. That one specifically that he showed before with the guy walking in the hallway. We'll come back to that.
All right.
But in this party, you can see these people are decorated in very bizarre things. If any of you know anything about the great ancient Greek worship of, let me see if I can find the name, Bacchus, or the Bacchus ceremony, where they worshipped various demon gods. They would dress up, and oftentimes in horns. And the Rothschilds usually had horns on. Each one of these images that you see, and I won't get into details on them, of what these people are wearing, are all very symbolic of events, of people. These people live in symbolism. And like I said, this was a Rothschilds party. In order to get into this party, you had to receive an invitation. You see the guy's face? That is very, very close to the exact stationary print that the invitation was on. Also,
they're like a cloud, isn't it?
It's an ocean scene with the sky and clouds. The invitation was on something almost exactly like that, and the same with their dinner menu. The invitation was written backwards. You had to read it through the mirror, and there are images of it. You can find it. You can also find images of the dinner menu. We'll get back to the dinner menu. But the decorations, go ahead and go through some of these images. I'm not worried about these two people. Some of them you may recognize. Let's skip that one. We'll get back to that one later. Here's more. These are, like I said, very symbolic. You see the lady on the far left with the lettering across her head and the eye exaggerated. The stripes, the checkered field, these are all, some of you who may know will understand exactly what those symbolize. Go ahead and switch again. Like I said, I don't want to get into too much detail. Here's a dinner place setting, just one of many that they have. Broken dolls, all of infants. And people think, well, maybe it's a Halloween party. This wasn't a Halloween party. And it's actually absolutely symbolism. Around there, if you can see barely, I didn't give Loki a good picture of it, but on the one baby doll in the dead center, missing the legs, off to the left, that little square piece of paper, just barely visible, is that blue sky that I was telling you about. That's the dinner menu. On the dinner menu, they had things like sirloin, written as sirloin. There was a bunch of other things, but it was all a cannibalistic menu. Now, the reason why I bring this up, because we'll get back to some of these things, is, that there is pretty typical of a lot of Hollywood parties. You'll be able to find videos. You'll be able to, like Marie Abramovich parties, where they have either humans actually laid out like that, that people eat off of. This one here was believed to be sugar that they actually ate. There'll be cakes that are exactly designed where they eat them or eat off of them. I know I'm going to shock a lot of you people, but these are all real things, and you can find them on your own. I don't want to disturb you too much tonight because the rabbit hole's pretty deep, and how terrible it is gets pretty deep. But I wanted to get into a movie that some of you had heard of, and I'm sure you've seen this, haven't you, Loki?
Oh, yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot to this. The movie was done by Stanley Kubrick. You know him from several different films. One of the most famous ones was 2001: Space Odyssey. Even his death is going to come into play with these people. I'll explain why. But he made this movie, Eyes Wide Shut, and people thought, oh, that's going to be pretty good. He decided he had it all finished, presented it to the overlords at Warner Brothers, and said, here's my movie. And
Psycho with a $2 super chat makes me want to sharpen something. Thank you so very much, Psychodorf 9. And speaking of sharpening something, Skull!
Spartans! What is your profession?
Awesome. See this picture here too. We'll get back to Stanley Kubrick. This picture here, like I said, there's also someone else who's involved with this. Some people I won't name because I know there are people here in the audience that are fans of these people. But Katy Perry has a video that depicts something almost exactly like this. They throw the symbolism right in your face. Well, Stanley Kubrick, he presented his movie of Eyes Wide Shut to Warner Brothers. They watched it. They immediately pulled him out, and some of the people that have witnessed to it said that the execs there yelled at him for over an hour. It went on a long time, and he said he was not cutting his movie. They wanted 24 minutes of this movie removed, and he said no. He went home that night, and he died that night. And it was exactly 666 days from the January 1st release of 2001: Space Odyssey. These people, like I said, symbolism in your face. Now, you may think that was just a coincidence. We'll let that pass as just a coincidence because you never know. But that's really, really what happened. Gosh, what the heck? Oh, yeah. They said it was a heart attack, but inconclusive. You never know. I gave the horns again, part of that satanic symbol. And you notice that deer is crying? Or the multiple faces on the head?
Yeah, it's part of the mask.
You can look at the symbolism yourself. But the evening that Stanley Kubrick died, there was a what they call the Church Commission that happened in 1975. This was 3 years after the Vanderbilt party. They released a nice little device by the CIA, and if you don't think they're involved or tied together, I can't help you there. But it's called, you have the picture there somewhere, the heart attack gun. There it is. This was presented in front of Congress. That little device from the 70s by the CIA fires a liquid dart that leaves a little pinprick on the skin, undetectable unless you knew exactly what it did, and you're dead that evening. This was a assassination weapon. And like I said, if you think it just stuck in the CIA and you were someone as powerful as the Vanderbilts or the Rothschilds, you got another thing coming. Those guns have been used a lot, and I won't get into how or where or why, but there is a common belief that this thing was used against Mr. Kubrick because of what he wanted to release to the public. And like I said, I am not going to go too much into detail about that right now. And like I said, Loki, if you wanted to ever interrupt or had questions or bring something out of the chat, that's fine, because I'm just reading notes. I'm not reading any.
No. Yeah. I was reading this gun, about this gun made of ice. The dart is made of ice.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So it leaves no trace except for a little tiny red mark on the skin. There are videos you can find it of that actual hearing when they did this in front of Congress. You could see them talking about it, them inspecting the gun, but it's a real deal. And you can conceal it nice and easy. You would think a rifle would be better. Now you just put in a little pistol, and you can even be at the same party or the same movie theater or even across the street in a cab. There was I mentioned that this festival of the Greeks, the Bacchus festival, where they had these costume parties dressed up in with horns and orgies and human sacrifice and various different things. They existed for a long time. We'll get into that towards the end. That is your Rothschild's host.
Wow.
Yep. There was a story, you guys. Go ahead.
Mask? Why would you wear a mask like that?
It's symbolism. It's all symbolism. Whether it be the MK Ultra, like the birdcage one with the butterflies in there, which is about mind control. There are tons of testimonies for you guys who feel like you now need to go and investigate. You will see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's everywhere. And yet it's nowhere because people try and silence you or keep it quiet or say that you're silly because you believe this. But when you run into people that have been infected by this, when you run into people from the Secret Service who tell you that these things are true, then you start to believe that this isn't just an odd rabbit hole. But these are the people that have been in power for over 100 years and are now grasping at straws trying to survive because the world is waking up. One of the things about the Windsor family, we'll get into that. Sorry, you English people. I don't know if you care to hear about it or not, but I'm going to bring it up eventually. Yes, there was a Roman version. Yep, it's all the same thing, and it's still here today. Same thing. There was another person, it was about 100 years ago, who wrote and you could look this up, I can't find a translation, but it's basically Traum Nouvelle, or trauma novel, Traum Nouvelle, one word. That story seems to be very, very identical to what happened in the events of this Rothschild party and with Eyes Wide Shut. It is repeating itself over and over and over again, and we only get glimpses of it every now and then. And thanks to modern technology, there's your MK Ultra. Shows she is a slave to the system. There is a lot of symbolism in here, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's all there. You'll be able to find it on your own. But the Traum Nouvelle was Austrian book about a guy 100 years ago. Him and his wife went through the same thing. So let's get into this movie by Mr. Kubrick. In it, the guy and the girl get wrapped into this that mask. If you had a close-up of the mask, or you go back and watch the movie, sorry, my dog's walking in the room, you could hear nails on the hardwood floor. You get a better look of it. That is, and you will be able to find it too, Bob Hope. All of you people love Bob Hope, don't you? There are eyewitness sworn testimonies that Bob Hope was an MK Ultra handler and they were his slaves. And they put that in the movie. Kubrick did for a reason, because he knew. There were also, at one point they're at the party, and Nicole Kidman, who we'll get back to her some more, gets seduced by an older gentleman. His name was Sandor Savos. Interesting that most people think that Sandor Savos was representative, and in many ways the story, if you knew him, fits a man named Anton Sandor Lavelle. Instead of Savelle, was Lavelle, who was the founder of modern-day Church of Satan. There was a female, two females, who went after Tom Cruise. One of them introduced the other one as Nola Windsor, representative of the Windsor family. Now, this is where I'm going to piss some people off, because I know firsthand the people who were involved in this, and there was only a few children who escaped, and one of them I met, who were taken from their family, said they're going to a retreat, these Native American kids. And when they went to this retreat, it wasn't exactly a retreat. It was more like a re-education camp. Until one of the Windsors, who has been convicted of crimes against humanity and child molestation and murder, took these children, and many of these, and they disappeared. They found the bodies later on. And you guys know who I'm talking about. She's been around a long time. And I ran into one who escaped and got onto a train and made it back home and had horrible things to say. I've been fortunate or unfortunate to be able to know so many people involved in so many things, and I'm just a retired lowly chiropractor out of Michigan. But there you have another aspect of the story where Kubrick was pointing fingers to the Church of Satan and very, very powerful people in Hollywood, like the Bob Hope mask, and in royalty, like Nola Windsor. Where things get in, go ahead.
Nicholas Glenn has thrown in a $4.99 super chat and says, "Great stream with R&B today. I'm 100% on board with what Adega is saying too."
Well, some of you have done your research. Like I said, it's not easy to find. And most.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Nope, we need a skull for him.
Indeed, we do. Thank you so very much, Nicholas Glenn. Skull.
There it is! It's beautiful! Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
You guys keep the home fires burning bright in Valhalla. Thank you, Nick.
All right. Now, there are parts in the movie, and they have been depicted. That's not my screenshot. That's somebody else's. So my computer doesn't look like that. Where they have the circle with the gentleman sitting in a chair in red while everyone else is wearing masks in black, and he has a censer with incense coming out. I think I sent you a picture of the chair. with him sitting in the chair, or it may have just been the eagle. I want people to see that too. There it is. That's a picture from, you see the crown, you see the two eagle heads with the wings coming up at the top of the chair. Now, if you look to the right, that is with the 33, sometimes depicted with 32 on the chest, is the crest of guess who? The Rothschilds family.
Oh, that's insane.
Yep. Kubrick knew what he was doing. And he was also quite paranoid at the time. People said he took up smoking again. He started talking to himself, and he was having serious issues just before his death because he was trying to expose this. And here's where the hard part comes in. This is where the 24 minutes were removed. In the movie, you see they have the circle and the women disrobe, and they have their little magic circle, as it's called in some easiest terms.
I don't think we got a picture of that.
I didn't put a picture in that for
Okay.
you. No, I mean, you could find it real easy, but anyone who's seen the movie would know, and I've never bothered searching for things like that. But there is a point in there where that Santos Savos introduced his child, who was an underage sex slave. And the belief is from some of the people, because the people in the movie are under a massively restrictive non-disclosure agreement, more so than most agreements. That's why you don't hear any of the goings on or what happened during the 24 minutes.
So I could work 9 with a $5 super chat. I'm not going within 1,000 meters of the idiot without a VPN. I do not blame you, brother. Thank you so very much for the $5 super chat. And we're going to hit you with a little, a hit. Skull!
God, I want to punch an old woman in the face.
Yes.
Just so long as it's a Vanderbilt or a Rothschilds, and I'll go with you.
Oh, thank you guys for keeping the home fires burning bright.
I'm trying to remember where I was at. Oh yeah, right after this, the missing 24 minutes, they introduced the child who was messed up by the dad. It is believed by some of the people that knew Kubrick, knew what he was trying to get after, that this is where they brought in the children. And I don't want to ruin your evening further than I'm already doing. I'm not going to open up your eyes any more than I already have. Other than to know that what they would do to children is far worse than what you would imagine they do to adults. Simply because part of the black magic, innocence taken or horrified or abused, brings them their greatest power in their black magic. I'm telling you this from someone who has seen evidence from people who have had it. And I didn't want to see it. I thought I did. When I finally did, it still makes my stomach turn to see what had happened. I won't describe it. I won't. It's beyond thinking of what a human would do to another human. And of course, they didn't survive. But these people are all involved in it. It's how they get off. Their little black magic. Well, that 24 minutes was removed. Now, we can go on to, let's see, talk a little bit about Nicole Kidman, things that you didn't know. Any of you know who her dad was? We'll get there. You can leave that image up. That's fine, because we're not going to go back to the unknowns. His name is Anthony Kidman. And you'll never guess who he was friends with. Any of you guys know a man by the name of Aleister Crowley?
Crowley.
Yeah, he was a high-level Luciferian in Aleister Crowley's group. There is a video of an Australian lady, as an adult, came out and exposed a lot of horrible things that the police, and if it's in Australia, it's everywhere. With the police, with the government, with your bureaucrats, where they did terrible things.
He died from a heart attack as well.
Yeah. Right after this girl exposed him, almost the same day. It was very close. It was within the month. I can't remember the exact time. That's Nicole Kidman's dad. We're gonna tie in a little bit about that in just a minute, because I told you symbolism is everything to them, in your face. But this, like I said, you'll be able to find it if you really search for it. I'm not going to get into it too much, but she saw, hypnotized children that were subjected to various ways of dying by Anthony Kidman, leaders of the police force, and public officials. It's been said by some of the people at night, and I'm not going to point any names. There is someone in the group who knows exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if he's even in here tonight. He may be hiding incognito, because let's just say he's a hero of his own sort, and I really appreciate what he's done. Who would know how insidious this is? You think your small little town is free of it? I can guarantee you every single small town, large town throughout the world has their foot in it somewhere in one of the dark corners. All right, back to Nicole Kidman. She was in the movie for a reason. And this rainbow building here is you're looking at a toy store. In the toy store, and you can go back and watch the movie, you'll see symbolism everywhere. Like one of the prominent displays at the counter is a game called the Magic Circle. Well, what were we talking about? They have different symbolisms all over, including tigers in there, which were placed specifically for, it's an MK Ultra thing, because that tiger also appeared earlier with the first prostitute that was in the movie. And at the very beginning of the movie, you will see two gentlemen in the background that were sitting at a table just talking. And at the very end of the movie, those same two gentlemen walk off with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise's kid following right behind, meaning the circle's complete. You take one family, start, raise the kid, bring it in, then the next generation goes in. So there you have it. I wanted to, like I said, I'm not going to get any deeper than that. I could. I'm not going to put it on YouTube. There have been other brave people that have done it. I know some channels that have disappeared. And there's another brave soul who continues to try and does a good job, but it's hopefully current events and people that are cleaning this up will have done enough to protect this guy's life. You can, who is it? Dennis Quaid? What's his brother's name?
Randy
Quaid. He once talked about it. You can see him, and everyone thought, "Oh, he's just an idiot." What's he talking about? Yeah, he's crazy because of the whackers, he called them, that would go in and do the professional kills of people that stepped out of line in Hollywood. You can also look up I believe it was the Simpson episode where Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash, And guess what happened with him?
He died in a helicopter crash.
Symbolism is everything. You can look up dates, you can look up relationships, you can look up buildings, and you'll find it over and over and over again. So much so that the preponderance of the evidence is scary. So, I didn't mention all the names that I know. I didn't mention all the things that people do. I didn't describe the things that I was shown by certain people that are hidden in high places, which, like I said, a lowly chiropractor in Michigan should not have ever had purview to. And yet, anyway, that's what I had for you tonight. I wanted to open your eyes to things that exist right in front of you with your eyes wide shut. There's a reason why he called it that. And there's a reason why I hate Hollywood. There's a reason why I hate Disney. One of these nights, I'll probably bring up Disney. You think you're sick? I'll just add to it then. Loki knows the story about my son, who, when he was little, experience at Disney. I'll probably share it with you another time. This is all real, folks. Sorry to tell you.
So why do you think Nicole would agree to do this movie?
To put it in your face. Same reason Katy Perry does it. Same reason and I know people are fans of a couple of these people, and I'm not going to bring them up, so you know, I don't want to ruin your illusion. But you look at pictures, and why is it always these musicians and oftentimes these celebrities, when they're taking pictures, even in the Star Wars realm, they'll cover one eye. People think, oh, that's just hooey. Really? Really? You think so? No, she was put in it for a reason. Stanley Kubrick knew what he was doing. And so did the people that killed him, in my opinion. They didn't let him expose too much. Just enough to say, hey, guess what? You're missing out. But you can't know all the truth.
And there's a connection. There's another connection in all of this because the woman who brought Nicole basically to Hollywood and to fame was Liz Molinard. And she is a founder of Australia's leading clinic that deals with people that have been affected by exactly what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. And you got to be leery of some of these charities, you know, even some of the religious ones. You really have to do your homework, you know, where children go into foster care, like I said, with the Native Americans and what happened to them. 2/3 of them didn't go home. It was a group of about 40 kids. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was 40 kids, and I know they report it differently now. There's also... I don't know how to feel about this thing with Paris Hilton. It makes a lot of sense to me. She came out about a month or 2 months ago and made a video that said, raise your hand if you had experienced this, experienced that. And it starts to describe all the things that these children who get groomed to be subjected to the mind control type things were through. And knowing her, I don't know. I can't tell, but she talked about, you know, people taking her at night, subjecting her to all kinds of terrible things, you know, the private schools. Pardon?
I'm sure you know about Nixium, right?
Nexium, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
The woman that was in that, I'm trying to remember her name. She was an actress on Smallville.
Yep. I can't remember her name either.
Allison Mack. She ended up, because of this whole thing that was going on, she ended up marrying the girl that played what's her name off of Battlestar Galactica. Is Cassie, the girl that worked on the deck gang with the chief, that married Chief Tyrrell. Cassie, Cammy, I can't remember her name. They ended up actually getting married in real life so that she could stay in the country. And she was a part of all this too. And do you think that has any connection to any of this?
Like I said, it's everywhere. And those of you who've been following along, I don't know how you feel about current administrations or not, but unlike any other time in history, groups like NXIVM, I can't tell you how many thousands of children have been rescued, how many thousands of pedophiles across the world have been arrested. I know that the networks here have been arresting people in Europe. When they fall here, they've gone to Europe and captured a lot of them. They could be just different organizations. I don't know. Maybe you think of even like in the fandom menace, and I'm not comparing a good group with a bad group, except in the fact that in the fandom menace, we have a large group, first wave, fourth wave, and then there was a group that thought, well, we could do it better, the Grey Council, and of course there are a bunch of haters. There's splinter groups, and whether NXIVM is a splinter group or not, I don't know. I just know that they're a bad group. Anyone that makes sex slaves and blackmail films and tattoos their people with branding on their hip with the guy's name on it, yeah, that's a pretty bad cult. And selling them, all of that stuff.
And Colin P. Smith, no, right. As of right now, she's awaiting sentencing. Colin asks, isn't Allison Mack in prison? No, she's awaiting sentencing at the moment.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Adega. Thank you so much, brother.
I know it was a dark place to go to. I know it was disturbing. It's something that here's the first experience that I ever had with it. I've told you things personally, Loki, that you can understand why some things started heading my way. But when I was a chiropractor, first, when you're a student, eventually they trust you enough to start working on other students. And when you're done with working on other students, you're under supervision to work on the public. And I was working on somebody, and they gave me the leeway. I had more freedoms as a student than there's a reason for that, but I won't get into it. But I was working on this one lady who came in. She was quiet, needed care, and I noticed the skin on her back. It was through her shirt. She didn't disrobe or anything. It felt like squishy bubble wrap. And I thought, well, maybe she got hit in the shoulder, But then it covered most of her back. This woman would not give any names, would not describe what had happened, wouldn't say anything, but it was obvious that she had been beaten over and over and over again into submission. She was never allowed to leave the house unless absolutely needed. There was a lot of different things that this poor woman had went through, and she would not talk. We had to call the police and get a report and everything. But this stuff starts off early, and there are actually, I wasn't going to get into it, but I will a little bit, breeding groups where you think of humans being farmed just like cattle for various different reasons.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, I'll stop there.
No, I'm not. I'm just like that. The very idea of that is that's. I know there are people out there that do bad things.
Yeah, I won't get into the. There's a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of dark stuff. And and I want to share it all, but I know it's too much. So I think I'm gonna, you can ask questions, but I'm not gonna share very much more of some of the things that, yeah. It's gotten a little dark in this room. I kind of need a little bit of a break. These are things that you can take in small bits. And that feeling that you get, that sickness, while you're sitting there, those of you who feel it, that irritation, that kind of that anger and that sickness, and kind of what you heard Loki go, no, 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 that feeling in there, the people who do this live off of that feeling. To them, it gives them power. And the worse it is, the more powerful their magic.
Yeah.
That's why they call it black magic.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if you should thank me for that or not.
No, we do. We do. Because it's shining a light on something that people want to keep quiet. No, we do. We do need to thank you. That is exactly the kind of stuff that, I've gotten into the habit of, I'll do a story or something or a writing or something on here with you. But, we started out covering history, started out covering battles. We started out covering, ancient empires, the Roman Empire, our empire during World War II. And then we moved into this in October. And no, this is everything that you have brought up, from the hospitals you brought up a couple of weeks ago to this. No, it is important.
Well, something else I want to bring up too, though, is I share with you the things that you don't look at. The things that are beautiful are the ones that we tend not to look at. I don't know why that is. When they say stop and smell the roses, look at the children playing, all the wonderful things in the world are things that, yeah, just like Kai said, there is so much beauty around that sometimes we walk in the gray and then, I expose the dark, but there's also every bit as much as light, and there is more light than there is darkness. Otherwise, the darkness would have already consumed us. They would have had the advantage. They're trying, but it won't happen. People give Christians a hard time because they pray. They give, the Muslims a hard time because they pray to the east so many times a day. The Chinese are doing things to the Falun Gong, who just try and better themselves. But there is so much good and so much beauty around. It far outweighs what is dark. And that's, like I said, that's why they haven't conquered us. It's because there's more of us, and there's more beauty, and there's more strength in us than there is in them. But I didn't want you to be ignorant either.
No.
The war of light and dark is real. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Chat, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. We will be back tomorrow morning with Lorena Creel and Dave Bob. Dave Bob's right there. I try to walk in the light for Mandalorian. And then it will be a long weekend for Loki, because you guys probably aren't going to see me until next Monday. So
Loki tired.
Loki's just a little tired. Loki needs a couple of days. Thank you, Adega. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, stay wonderful, and as Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other. There's no reason not to be.
Yep.
There's absolutely no reason not to.
Yeah. Get rid of that road rage, Get rid of that anger. There may be things that are unfortunate. Just stand up and be accounted for what is right, what is light. Don't kneel. Enjoy the fire and the brightness that is in it. That's why I like Valhalla so much. That's why I like Loki's community so much, is because there are the charitable children's group, that Mary and Mark have done. There are supports, like you mentioned earlier, where we see someone who, and this isn't just one person, it's been a few, who have had unfortunate circumstances, and people in this group rise up to lift each other up instead of tearing each other down. This is the community that I like to be part of, even though I've seen other things. This is the strength. This is where you gain the hope. This is where you get your batteries recharged for the next day, or where you can do your thing and go to sleep over the weekend, so you come back Monday and say, oh, okay, I'm no longer tired. But I appreciate everyone for being here, simply because, if nothing else, it's a group of good people that I can enjoy.
Heck yeah, brother. Heck yeah, guys. We will see you next week. I don't know. I gotta talk to Adega about something after the show. So we will see you guys later. Everyone have a great one. See you tomorrow morning for the Mandalorian. And here's some Kratos for you guys. Have a great one.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.